Okay, we're going to get ready to install the hinge pins, and as I was going through my accessories for the hinge pins, these are all for the elevator over here for each side. These here are for the ailerons for each side, but when I came to the rudder I was short one, so just wanted to make sure that you think about whenever you're putting this together that you have some extra these small hinge pins, Robart hinge pins on hand. That way if you come up short on one of them or so, you'll have it there. Okay, I've taken each one of these hinge pins and I've sanded them, just roughed them up a little bit on each side, so that part of it's done. Then I'm going to take my handy dandy little sandwich skewers you can get at Dollar Tree or Dollar General or Walmart or whatever, any of those places. Just little sandwich skewers, nice little pointed end. You can come in, dip into your Vaseline petroleum jelly, take up a little glob and wind it up on there, kind of pull it off a little bit, then take a little, look like that, take and roll it on your pin. Kind of make sure that it's on the front edge in the joint, pack it in there a little bit, and you know, it's like less is more. No, more is more. So it'll work better. Just kind of pack it around there, roll it around, and work that on through each one of your pins. And that's one of the ways you do it. Set it back down, keep it clean, stick that in there. We'll do all of them. I've got all the rest of them to do, but that's just basically how you're going to do all of them. Okay, in this segment we're going to put in the hinges, and so I checked each one of these holes to make sure that the pins would go in there, and I like to make sure that they're all the same, line up the same, have the same part of the axle that's in part of the hinge itself is pointing the same way. I went through each one of these holes. This one here only went in about halfway, so I had to drill it a little more, 2mm drill, just to make sure that it was free to go. And so what we're going to do now is I'm going to set this back down, set the pen back down, and I'm going to I guess you would say pre-glue each one of the ends. I've noticed I put little pieces of tape here, make sure that it doesn't run down on the rest of it, just to keep it clean. So I'm going to come in here with my little skewer and go inside the hole and just put some glue down inside, deep inside there, if you can get it, as far as you can get it down inside there, until it kind of squishes back out, and get a little bit more, little squishes in there till it comes back out. You're going to put some on the pins too, but here we want to pre-glue the holes themselves, so that when you put the pins in, you got to make sure you got good glue all the way down deep. And then same with each one of these as I'm going out of view. There I know on the camera, but I'm hitting the rest of them at the same time and making sure that each one of theirs, that there's plenty of glue down inside there when we get ready to put the pins in. Over gluing it, but at the same time, and then in the angle, and make sure the angle, because this is the way the rudder is going to be going this way, you want to make sure that your pin fluctuates the same way, actuates the same way. And so here we're going to shove this guy in there and put it all the way back up tight to the edge, turn it, make sure, push it in a little deeper, and then there it goes straight down and straight up. And you have your Vaseline on there, and make sure that it's at a 90 to the edge there. Looks good. Looks good. So, and we're going to come back and keep working these as we put them in to make sure that they don't lock up, that it doesn't get any glue inside the hinge itself. So I'm going to come on work all my way down this way, so I won't keep filming this, but you see this first one, I'm going to do the next one the same, and the same all the way down. no hang-ups so far. And we've been about 15 minutes into the glue time. So we've got about another 15 minutes before the hardener starts to set up. So I'm going to sit here and babysit it. Okay, we've mounted the rudder here and got a nice, clean, even line all the way through, all the way to the top. Nothing's touching. We have just basically the same amount of distance across the top here as we do down the line, all the way to the bottom. Plus we've got good deflection all the way across, all the way to the other side. What I did is, and I'm going to kind of show you as we get ready to do the elevator to the stab here. What I did, let's see if I'm going to get up here a little closer. See if I can get it back in focus there. Okay, what I'm going to do is just going to take one of them and I'm going to show you what I did on the rudder. It's the same with each one of these. And what I did is I took my little pieces of tape and I put them in right next to the hole there for the hinge. Sorry, put my arm in the way there. Put it across there, then take another little half piece, come right across the top and the bottom. It's right up against the hole, right like that, and like that. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to do that all the way across here. And again, this is a very, not real sticky painter's tape. It's really a great tape because it doesn't pull on the covering. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to come across all the way across here. One thing I did when I was doing the rudder, that as you look at the pins here as they go in, the same here on these pins, I took the rudder and I put it in and I'd already glued it and everything, and it ended up where I couldn't get the rudder to snug up against the vertical stabilizer. I couldn't get it, so I pulled it off real quick and tapped out the end, because as you can see here on the little hinge, that it's tapered wider at the top. So when you try to get your either rudder or elevator to come in, it won't go in all the way. So what I did this with the rudder and I did this here with the elevator, is I just tapped in a little bit. I took my drill and I took a 3.5 millimeter, 4 millimeter, I can't remember. Anyway, I just opened it up a little bit so that it can compensate for that wedge. It's a little kind of a little wedge that comes this way on the hinge. And as I sit back and I'll show you here, I don't have any glue on these yet. I'm not going to glue it yet. But I come in here and I set it in real nice on each one. And then as I push it in, I can push it all the way into the edge here. Get up here and I'll show you. And I'll get a nice clean edge all the way across. All the way in here. Now, you don't want to get it too close. So what I do is I take an old credit card or an old card that's no good, one of the little plastic ones, and I cut them in little strips, and then I stick them in here like this to make sure, and then tape them. And I do that all along here because you don't want, like right here, it's already too tight. And then over here it's too tight, and you just want to, about that width will take you all the way across, and you end up with a nice even edge from outside to inside all the way across. So anyway, I'm going to tape up all the rest of this and put my little pieces of credit card in there. Let's see if I can come around here and get a better shot. Here, like this. I'll back out a little. There, just like that. Just to give you a little spacer, I guess you would say. A little spacer in there to make sure you come up. And then you make sure that you come over here on the outside edge. And that you got a good opening there for everything. And there goes my card, but you see what I'm trying to say. So anyway, what I'm going to do is I'm going to come back and I'm going to tape up each one of the hinges like I did over here on this one end. And like I said, I did it the same here on the rudder all the way up. And it's all nice and even all the way across and all the way down. And I'm going to do that on this side, and then I'm going to do it on the other side, and then I'll get back to you in a little bit and we'll start hooking up our pull system for our rudder. Okay?